I don't know of any blockbusters. Like, there's a few movies opening this weekend. One that might draw music fans, though. Sparkle, apparently Whitney Houston's last movie. What's that all about?
Well, Whitney Houston stars in this PG-13 as a mother of 3 daughters. She's had a singing career. Now her 3 adult daughters want to do the same, but mom's against it. She has some religious reasons for that. By the way, this was produced, surprise, surprise to me, until just recently by T.D. Jakes. So
Really?
So to have a little bit of Christian content, to mention of, I want, Jesus has given me this gift, singing, I want to use it for him, now doesn't come as a bit surprised. It has a heart of gold. It's really a mom and her daughters trying to bond, trying to be a family. The dark side of fame comes through. I had to give it a 2.5 though, just because of some sensuality that shows up, especially in one singing number with a bit of personal groping on a female's character, and in an intimate scene that probably a little too dicey there as well. So 2.5 out of 5 for Sparkle, despite giving it credit that it does have a good heart.
Well, that's a starting place at least.
Yeah.
One of the movies I've seen a lot of kind of previews for, and even last night at the movies when my wife and I went, ParaNorman. It strikes me as one of those movies trying to pass creepy stuff off as cute. I could be way off base. I hope I am, but
no, I think that's probably a good way to describe this one. Essentially, this little boy Norman sees dead people, and he can communicate to dead people. No one around him, of course, can. His parents think he's talking to himself. His sister thinks he's crazy, and he's trying to. We find out. Break a 300-year-old curse on his town that happened when the Puritans, Christians, if you will, burned this little girl we assume, presumably at the stake, for being a witch, but really she was in reality just a girl like Norman who had this kind of psychic ability. Now, I would say, like with Sparkle, one could say, okay, if you boil it all down, what's the message here? And it's really can't we all get along? We're differently gifted. Shouldn't we be tolerant of that? And it's an anti-bullying. As you might imagine, Norman gets bullied quite a little bit because of how different he really, really is. But from the downside, here's another movie I gave a 2.5 out of 5 for family friendliness, despite some good messages. It's hard to call it spiritual messages because the film doesn't bill it that way, but we all know that there is another world, if you will, and the zombie world that doesn't exist, and this movie does exist, but the people that live in a spirit body and, trying to break all the curses or whatever, it's just a little over the top for me. And then here's a couple other things that families need to keep in mind on this one. Surprise, surprise, a girl's got a crush for this football jock-like character. She's flirting, she's winking, and at the very end, she asks him to go to a movie, and he says, yes, I'll go, but I'm going to bring my boyfriend along as well. Oh, gotcha. Do we really need that in a movie supposedly designed for kids? There's a talk of the F-bomb. They don't actually say it, but the word is used. Again, can't we just kind of keep that out of films geared toward kids? And I would say, really, this is not a film that I would take my kids to if they were young, despite giving it some credit for the anti-bullying message.